Things are gonna get interesting now on the cusp of Marvel Phase 3, where we're gonna get superheroes like Doctor Strange or Black Panther. Yeah, I didn't really read them either, but I did read a few comic books with the classic Hank Pym Ant-Man. And as much as I like the character, you have to admit, Ant-Man? Yeah, kind of an obscure name for a superhero. Stan Lee and Jack Kirby apparently had a thing for obscure insect superheroes. Ant-Man, the Wasp, Spider-Man. Apparently they just wanted to name superheroes after things that creep little kids out. So I thought I might try it myself. Let's see, I always had to sleep with a nightlight on. Maybe the Dark Man. Ah, crap, it's already been done. Plus it sounds vaguely racist. So I did a little more research, not just on Ant-Man himself, but on ants. And there's some cool facts. Did you know that the mass of all ants on Earth is actually equal to the mass of all humans on Earth? Or that they're the longest living insect species at 30 years? Or that ants actually enslave other ants? Suddenly Darkman doesn't seem so bad. That does make sense now. The scene where the ants raise the Confederate flag? I just thought it was Disney. Those dark days of Disney are over. This is Marvel Mania, where they can do no wrong, aside from hiring Shane Black, and they proved that with Guardians of the Galaxy. I guess the lesson there is, who cares if there's a talking tree, a wisecracking raccoon, or Bryce Dallas Howard? If you put the dreamy Chris Pratt in a movie, it's gonna make a gazillion dollars. This time it's not formerly fat funny man turned freakishly fit favorite, it's Paul Rudd, who for the most part, people know, and also for the most part, people like. So arguably, for the first time since Robert Downey Jr., Marvel is bringing in a big-name actor to play a hero. Yet you have to realize how stacked the odds are against a film like Ant-Man. Sure, you can bring in character actors like Paul Rudd or Evangeline Lilly, or icons like Michael Douglas, and yet a lot of things could still very much go wrong. My little ant friends are going to help me illustrate. First, they're going with Scott Lang, the ultimate version of Ant-Man, not the classic Hank Pym. They chose this film to end Phase 2, not the Avengers. Most importantly, Edgar Wright dropped out of this movie, and that's just wrong. Tastes like chicken. One thing I will definitely say is whoever was in charge of promotion for this film did a terrible job, because for the first time, the more I saw of this film through commercials or trailers, the less I wanted to see the movie. For example, when I watched the commercials, I was really worried about Michael Peña's character, because in Marvel there really hasn't been too many hilarious sidekicks who aren't that hilarious, and unfortunately in Ant-Man, that's exactly what you get. And in Ant-Man, there's not just one, but 3. What's worse is Scott's gang, partners in crime, buddies, whatever you want to call them, the 3 side characters were not only terrible side characters, but terrible stereotypes too, because out of the 4 ex-cons in the movie, 1 was white, 1 was Eastern European, 1 was Latino, and 1 was black. And guess which one got to be the hero? All I can say is, before this, Marvel, you've been better than that. Part of the reason they had this gang in the first place was because of the identity that Ant-Man was trying to create for itself, separating it from different films within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So far, the MCU has done a fantastic job giving each separate franchise its own cinematic subgenre. The Thor films were fantasy epics, Guardians of the Galaxy was a space opera, The Winter Soldier was a spy thriller, and the Iron Man films have been autobiographical about the life of Robert Downey Jr. And Ant-Man is a heist movie, which fits, but as a result we get the racist rejects from Ocean's 16. They're not alone either. I wanted desperately to like Corey Stoll in this movie. He was amazing in House of Cards and really deserves more exposure, but his yellow jacket was so over the top right from the beginning of the movie, you never took him seriously, and therefore you never really thought of him as an actual threat. Luckily, when you get down to the core 3 characters of Rudd, Lilly, and Douglas, then there's enough good story moments to really save the overall tone of the film, and I especially enjoyed what they did with the backstory of Hank Pym. While we're on the topic, holy crap have we come a long way when it comes to visual effects in the last decade. Remember the plastic Jeff Bridges monster in Tron Legacy, or the effeminate facelifts that Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart got in X-Men The Last Stand? Well, in a quick prologue, we got to see an 80s S.H.I.E.L.D., and with it, Haley Atwell returns as an older Peggy Carter, we get John Slattery returning as an older Howard Stark, and we get a younger Hank Pym, and therefore a younger Michael Douglas. And I mean a very convincing younger Michael Douglas. Like Douglas straight out of Wall Street convincing. Greed is good, and in this case the visual effects are very good. And in a film filled with special effects and amazing action scenes, that quick little scene at the beginning of the movie was the one that made my jaw drop. And therefore, 80s Michael Douglas is Ant-Man's for the win. Well, there's a phrase I never thought I'd say on Real School. Like I said, it has some amazing special effects throughout the film, and some amazing cinematography to go with it. And what I really liked about Ant-Man is it gave you a different perspective that you've never really seen in a superhero movie before. And I'm looking forward to seeing how Ant-Man will fit into the Avengers in the future. I think things will be better for Ant-Man in the future when he's in other movies. This is the first franchise I've watched where I felt it really shouldn't be its own franchise. He's merely a supporting character. The writers do well enough to fit him in with the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but this movie is okay at best. It's barely an earn it, and it's simply an earn it because it fits in with the rest of the MCU. But in fact, I would put Ant-Man in the bottom 5 of Marvel movies. And why it was the bookend to Phase 2, I'll never know. Poll question, who is your favorite obscure superhero? As always, leave your answers in the comment section below. Be sure to subscribe to Real School, follow me on Twitter, and of course if you get anything out of Real School, you can always give a little back. Just click the link and you can become a Real School patron. But until next time, school's out.